Hey. I'm Nicole Ellis. I am a filmmaker. That sucked. Let me start over again. I'm Nicole. I'm a reporter and filmmaker for the Washington Post. I'm turning 30 in a few months. I feel like 30 is that age where you reconcile like where you thought you'd be in life with where you actually are. And if I'm being honest with myself, I'm just now getting the hang of being an adult. Bills. I want to have kids. I want to get married. I want to start a family. But I'm also afraid that I'm running out of time. I'm thinking about freezing my eggs. So I decided to report on it. I feel like there's pressure on women to start settling down and having kids in our 20s because that's when we're most fertile.
The older we get, the harder it will be to get pregnant, and that pressure is essentially the biological clock.
Why?
And it can be really stressful for women around my age. We hear it referenced in movies and TV shows all the time.
My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married.
By the time a lady hits 30, she loses about 90% of her eggs.
Yeah, get this baloney. I'm 32, but my eggs are 48, and my vagina is 97.
I cannot believe what I just heard.
The tick-tocking of your biological clock leading you towards the corner of celibate and spinster way.
Okay, so I've got tons of questions. Mostly, how much time do I really have? I feel like I want to know if this is different for different women, and who came up with the idea of a biological clock in the first place?
It turns out the term was coined at the Washington Post. In 1978, Richard Cohen first used the phrase in an article about women in the workplace. It's been criticized a lot over the years for framing reproduction as solely a women's problem. We caught up with Richard in New York.
I am here to talk to you about your 1978 article. So in it, you describe the biological clock as a handicap. As really as a disadvantage. And I'm curious, do you still feel that way?
When I reread it, I didn't like some of the things I wrote. I didn't like some of the language. I thought it was a little too trite, a little too flip. But I didn't mean it as a put-down. It's not a put-down, it's a reality. My wife was a newspaper editor at the time. The whole question of how much you're willing to give up in your career to have a child. Do you have to give up anything? Could you have it all? It was part of your life. Now women can freeze their eggs, and I think that's wonderful.
I get what Richard's saying, but I've never felt defined by my biological clock. And while I have more opportunities and choices than women before me, I still don't really understand how my body works. I chatted with Dr. Kate Devine, an endocrinologist in DC.
Hi. I'm Dr. Devine.
Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
And the head of research at the largest fertility clinic in the country.
Please have a seat.
I don't really know how my body works, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the female reproductive system and what my biological clock is.
Your biological clock is the point in time at which you no longer have viable eggs that can be fertilized and make a baby. Women are born with all the eggs we're ever gonna have. And so a lot of people think of egg freezing as a way to extend the biological clock, and in many ways, that's accurate.
29 is young to me. I still feel young. But in egg years, it's really not. It varies from person to person, but broadly speaking, women are born with more than 1 million eggs. But thousands of them die every month until we go through puberty, and we're left with about 300 to 500,000. We'll continue to lose about 1,000 eggs a month after puberty until menopause, when our ovaries stop releasing eggs at around 51 years old. But women typically experience a decline in their fertility around 37. And that's because it's not just the number of eggs that make women less fertile as they age. It's also the quality of those that remain. As we get older, our eggs lose their freshness, just like eggs you'd buy at the grocery store. But for women, this means the eggs can develop chromosomal abnormalities.
And so when we say chromosomal abnormality, what we mean is an egg that has some other number than 23 chromosomes, because 23 chromosomes come from the egg and 23 chromosomes come from the sperm. And so if there's any other number than 46, that is abnormal. And the vast majority of these abnormal embryos that form are going to result in the outcome of either not pregnant, so the embryo doesn't implant, or a miscarriage.
Okay, we've covered a lot so far. From Richard Cohen, we learned that a lot's changed in the way we think about women's biological clocks, especially since 1978. And from Dr. Devine, how our reproductive system actually works and how eggs work. But I still don't know what that means for me on a personal level. Most women just don't know how many viable eggs they have left. In the next episode, we'll learn how many I have left and how you can do the same. Tell me what you think. Have you ever given much thought to your own fertility? Tweet me, skywrite me, message in a bottle. Actually, I would love a letter, like with a stamp and like a creative drawing of the female reproductive system. Or you could just scream my name, Nicole! I'd probably hear you.
Coming up in episode 2.
This is when things really get personal.
Usually, when women are 29, I'm telling them, you should wait.